By chance. Accidentally, without prior planning. They had met by chance at college and finished up getting married. He works always by rule and line, never by chance or guess. Our life gets better and better not by chance, but by working hard. Several years after they'd split up, they met again by chance in Paris. Ups and downs. The mixture of good and bad experiences. One who lives in luxury is hardly aware of the ups and downs of life. Facing life's ups and downs with a loved one seems joyful. She always supports me through the ups and downs of my life. There have been ups and downs in my life, but I have no regrets. Again and again. Emphasize that something happens many times. This truth has been proved again and again by the facts of history. They are easier to use and you can wear them again and again. This strange phenomenon was repeated again and again in the media. Why they went over the same arguments again and again? Safe and sound. Free from injury, or no damage. The rescuers brought the climbers back safe and sound. The house remained safe and sound after the earthquake. We returned home safe and sound and had a great trip. Before long, we reached our destination safe and sound. Hard and fast. To describe anything fixed or unchangeable. There are no hard and fast rules for planning healthy meals. Our factory has a hard and fast rule against smoking. There are no hard and fast rules for learning a language. Try to use policies as guidelines, not hard and fast rules. At all costs. Regardless of the difficulty, no matter what. Security during the president's visit must be maintained at all costs. They are determined to defend our motherland at all costs. The authorities are working to prevent smuggling at all costs. We must at all costs prevent them from finding out about the plan. Pave the way. To make it easier for something to happen. Their economic policy will pave the way for agricultural expansion. A long history of success may pave the way for further development. The new discovery paves the way for effective cancer treatments. Tourism could pave the way to an exciting career in travel photography. A great deal of. To a very great degree or extent. The report contains a great deal of statistical information. We've put a great deal of time and effort into this project. The place changed a great deal and was almost unrecognizable. You can learn a great deal just from watching other players. Apart from. Except for or not considering. Apart from getting the two sides talking, what else is to be done? The room was empty apart from one man seated beside the fire. We didn't see the man in the dark, apart from the glow of his cigarette. Apart from his intelligence, he was tirelessly industrious and diligent. According to. In agreement or accord with. The students were regrouped according to height and weight. Recruitment is conducted according to operational demands. The salary will be fixed according to qualifications and experience. The books in the library are classified according to subject. In the long run. A time that is far away in the future. Violence creates more problems in the long run than it solves. Indecent political practices will kill any nation in the long run. Exciting innovations often prove worthless in the long run. I think all our hard work will be worth it in the long run. Get rid of. Destroy something you do not want anymore. The owner needs to get rid of the car for financial reasons. You can usually get rid of glitches by drinking water very quickly. He is taking an exercise class to get rid of some fat around his waist. Governments should be encouraged to get rid of all nuclear weapons. All the while. All the time that something is happening. He examined the patient thoroughly, talking softly all the while. I didn't know why you were playing video games all the while. She continued working, all the while keeping an eye on the clock. He was thinking all the while of quitting his job because of the low salary. As a rule. Regulation for doing some particular activity. The government doesn't, as a rule, provide funds for private study. Agricultural cultivations, however, as a rule focus on one primary crop. As a rule, I don't like to interrupt people while they are speaking. As a rule, I get up at 6 o'clock, but yesterday morning I got up at 8. For the time being. For a limited period of time only. He intervened and settled the matter peacefully for the time being. For the time being, she is studying French at this language school. Both parties are allowed to manifest themselves for the time being. Their behavior is rough, but it's tolerable for the time being. Keep up with. Make progress at the same rate as others. You should read the newspapers to keep up with the times. Current technology changes so fast, it's hard to keep up with it. He found it difficult to keep up with the rest of the class. She always likes to keep up with the latest fashions. On the whole. Taking everything into account, in general. On the whole, people miss the opportunity to enjoy leisure time. On the whole, the potato plants are growing well this summer. We have our bad times, but on the whole, we're fairly happy. The winter isn't so cold, but on the whole, the climate is healthy. A rainy day. A future time when money is needed. It is always recommended to have some money for a rainy day. He invested in stocks as a safeguard against a rainy day. I put aside a portion of my wages each month for a rainy day. If you save nothing on a rainy day, you may come to grief. All of a sudden. Entirely without warning, abruptly. All of a sudden, the phone rang and I jumped in surprise. All of a sudden, the baby started crying and wouldn't stop. All of a sudden, the storm clouds rolled in and the sky turned dark. All of a sudden, the music stopped and the room fell silent. By and large. On the whole, everything considered. By and large, these people are peace-loving, law-abiding citizens. I really think that members of Parliament by and large do a good job. Women are by and large the bigger purchasers of antique clothing. I would say that by and large, we had a very good harvest this year. By no means. Not in any way, not at all, absolutely not. It is by no means certain that we'll finish the project by July. She's by no means really mad, she puts it on in order to gain attention. Although useful, the accessories are by no means essential for us. These types of problems are by no means peculiar to this country. Come into force. To become valid or active of a law. The new regulations will come into force at the end of the year. Environmental laws need to come into force to stop global warming. Parking restrictions in the town centre came into force last month. The changes to the contract will come into force immediately. Few and far between. Not frequent, not happening often. But now, any visible signs of success were few and far between. The schools are crowded, and good teachers are few and far between. In this economic climate, new ideas were few and far between. Sunny, warm weekends have been few and far between this summer. From hand to mouth. Having only just enough money to live. Our family didn't have much, so we lived from hand to mouth. They live hand to mouth and get no pension or help from the state. Their hand-to-mouth existence meant there were days without food. They used to be well off, but now they live from hand to mouth. Get by heart. To learn that you can say it from memory. Try to learn these advanced English words and phrases by heart. My father can still recite the poems he learned by heart at school. Which stories do you know off by heart and still want to read again? They know all the songs and the lines and the choreography by heart. Heart and soul. With complete sincerity and devotion. They usually put in their heart and soul into everything that they do. If you put your heart and soul into your training, you will make it. I have thrown my full heart and soul into this piece of writing. I believe with my heart and soul that we will overcome the hurdle. In no time. Very quickly or very soon. Now that we're on the highway, we'll be there in no time. She finished off 2 bowls of chicken noodle soup in no time. Working together, they cleaned the entire house in no time. The new medication will bring down your fever in no time. By any means. In any possible way, no matter how. Since pollution destroys resources, it must be avoided by any means. Security during the president's visit must be maintained by any means. They are determined to defend their motherland by any means. Ignorance can be dangerous, so we must resist it by any means. Out and out. In every respect, or from every point of view. Much of what has been written about them is out-and-out lies. Those who were out-and-out obese had a higher percentage of cancer risk. It provides for the possibility of prohibition, and out-and-out censorship. These decisions now seem misguided, if not out-and-out wrong. A lame excuse. Lack of thought or an inappropriate excuse. That is a lame excuse and perhaps it warrants further inspection. He mumbled some lame excuse about having gone to sleep. It was a lame excuse, and I knew that wasn't the reason for cancelling. He further said that no lame excuse will be tolerated in this regard. At a stretch. At one time without stopping. There's no way I could work for 10 hours at a stretch. The baby doesn't sleep for more than 3 hours at a stretch. Tom would disappear sometimes for a few days at a stretch. After traveling for 3 days, she slept for 20 hours at a stretch. At any rate. In any event, whatever the case may be. At any rate, I promise to be there even if I'm a little late. We were delighted, or at any rate satisfied, with the results. It is true that she was nervous. At any rate, her singing was still good. He said he'll be tomorrow. At any rate, I think that's what he said. At a loss. Uncertain what to think, say, or do. The government is at a loss to know how to tackle the violence. Detectives are so far at a loss to explain the reason for his death. When her son finally left home, Emily felt completely at a loss. Teachers of other subjects were at a loss to answer these questions.